Hello there, my fellow creators. It's the end of 2024 and that means once again it is time to look back. And today we will focus more on the creator side of things and I will tell you a little more about my favorite laptops I got to try during the past year. And I will also add my evergreens from 2023, since some of them are still available, perform competitively, and with the shopping season right in front of us, you can also score some pretty good deals for some very interesting laptops for all of your video and photo editing work, your next CGI projects, all of your graphic design endeavors, and pretty much everything in between. Today's video is sponsored by our German retail partner Notebooks Billiger, and all of our laptops today bet on a dedicated GPU out of Team Green's corner, and most of them are even Nvidia Studio validated notebooks. And that is not only because this video is sponsored, but in general, if you are serious about your work, a dedicated 40 series GPU not only gets you quite a boost in raw computing power, but with deep software support across everything standard in the creative industry or mobile GPUs, starting from the 4050 all the way up to the laptop RTX 4090, bring tremendous benefits to the table. Not only accelerating almost everything you do, but for some workflows even enabling you to do things that are simply not possible or viable on other platforms, but more on that later. I also did my very best to accommodate a plethora of different form factors and price points to showcase notebooks that work for as many of you guys as possible. So without further ado, let me tell you more about my selection and why I think they are great tools for creators. Nvidia's Studio validation does not only mean you get a dedicated GPU and the Studio drivers pre-installed, but it also tells you something about the display quality, ensures you get a minimum amount of RAM and storage, and fast CPUs to augment the graphics card. In addition, most of the notebooks I chose for today's video also have upgradable memory and SSD slots, some bet on the latest OLED and mini LED displays, come with special features that may aid your content creation workflows, and sport subtle chassis to ensure you do not raise any eyebrows in production, a meeting, or the office. While the RTX 4050 is technically the starting point in Nvidia's mobile lineup, it would not be my first choice when looking for a content creation laptop, unless it dictates a certain form factor or you simply do not need more. So while I do not think you should get a notebook with 16 gigs soldered and just a 512GB SSD, the Samsung Book 4 Ultra still made it into my selection. Despite the configuration and price issue I have with it, it's a great blend of a mainstream notebook that still has you covered for photo editing or graphic design work, and with an 80 watts RTX 4050, video editing is also not completely off the table, and with the sleek form factor, long battery life, and amazing OLED, it's a solid everyday computing companion. But to be quite honest, if you are somewhat serious about using your laptop for work, I would personally start with a 4060. This is also the perfect segue into our most affordable option today, the Lenovo Log 15. The plastic body is well made with great inputs, the display is good enough for video work and some semi-professional photo editing, and with a fast 4060 it's a great fit for GPU accelerated content creation apps. In addition, you get upgradable RAM and storage and all the ports you could ask for, and depending on your CPU choice, you can score this close or sometimes even below $1,000. If you want to stick to this particular price point, the HP Omen 17, a 17-inch behemoth that trades a bulkier chassis for quieter operation and a very practical assortment of ports, surprised me quite a bit during our review. I am also in the process of reviewing the Aorus 16X right now, and I like it a lot as well. At least in Germany, it is one of the most affordable notebooks sporting an RTX 4070, which would give you a very nice boost in supported applications without breaking the bank. So stay tuned for our full review coming soon. If you fancy a smaller notebook and your budget is not too restricted, my personal favorites in the 14-inch space would be the 2024 Razer Blade 14 and of course the absolute fever dream in the form of ROG's 2023 Zephyrus G14. The 2024 version is also pretty competitive, especially since you can find it on sale with 4050 or 4060 quite often, but I simply prefer the other two because of their performance benefits. The Blade 14 still features one of the fastest 4070s you can get your hands on, no matter the chassis size. And with its vapor chamber, it stays relatively quiet, and it's also one of the very few notebooks in this size to allow for upgradable RAM, which is definitely a huge selling point if you use a lot of memory-intensive apps. Razer also did their homework with a fast IPS panel, great factory calibration, and additional color presets to allow for more advanced color-critical workflows. We also made quite a few videos about the 2023 G14 already, but it's still crazy that they managed to fit a 125 watts RTX 4090 laptop GPU in this one. But not only that, but the single SODIMM slot for memory upgrades, the insanely flexible and absolutely beautiful mini LED panel, a solid port arrangement, great keyboard and subtle chassis make this the ultimate small form factor content creation monster. And I really hope we will see something similar in 2025. If you want something even smaller without compromising performance, the ProArt PX13 might also be interesting. It's a very sleek 13-inch convertible that still features up to an RTX 4070 alongside AMD's Strix Point Silicon and a very color accurate OLED. Which also kind of takes us into high-end territory. And guys, this is not really supposed to be a full list. There are many other notebooks that would be able to cater to your needs. And making a decision for a notebook here is, as always, very dependent on your personal needs and budget. But these are the notebooks I used a lot for our content and that somehow left a mark on me or impressed me in one way or another. The absolute workhorse, either in the RTX 4080 or 4090 flavor, would be the Legion Pro 7. You get a somewhat subtle chassis that would not be out of place in an office, and the combination of a fast i9 14900HX, full wattage GPUs, a well-calibrated IPS display, and again, typical for Lenovo, all the ports you could possibly ask for, save for a 2.5 gigabit Ethernet connection, makes this one a great desktop replacement. It is also quite often on sale, so you can snag a very powerful notebook with a great discount. The Plate 16 and its bigger brother, the Plate 18, are not very often on sale if at all, but they would be on the very top of my personal wishlist. Both come in very subtle and insanely well-made chassis with enough ports to accommodate all sorts of peripherals, upgradable RAM and storage, and simply amazing displays, OLED for the Plate 16 and Mini LED for the Plate 18. Speaking of Mini LED, as another blast from the past, I got my hands on the Zephyrus Dual 16 again. This dual screen insanity also bets on the newer display tech, an RTX 4090 and AMD's 16-core mobile monster, the Ryzen 9 7945HX. And it's also quite high on my list of notebooks I would buy with my own money, alongside the Plate 16 and Legion Pro 7. Having the second screen is a godsend for multitasking on the go, and I personally can easily live with the usability compromises that come with the form factor. It also looks quite a bit cleaner than the Scar 16, which is also an amazing laptop in its own right. However, it's a bit louder in its design language, which might get you the occasional comment during the next Monday morning team meeting. If size and price are of no concern to you and you are basically looking for a full-on desktop replacement that you can still take with you occasionally, I grew quite fond of the new 18-inch laptop class. Again, Razer's Plate 18 would probably be my favorite pick since it combines the massive display with a still somewhat sleek chassis. And the display. If you want to save a few bucks and display quality is not your main concern, the Alienware M18 is also a great performer, and if you want to max out everything, MSI's Titan 18HX takes everything a notebook can do to the next level. With 4 SODIMM and NVMe slots, a 4K 120Hz mini LED panel, a ton of ports, and of course an RTX 4090, this is as good as it gets when it comes to mobile performance. For a price. The Radar 18 offers apparently almost the same experience with a few chassis downgrades, but unfortunately I haven't been able to get my hands on a review sample yet. But we did already review it on the website, so please feel free to check that out. And by the way, we reviewed all of the other notebooks here on YouTube and in our written reviews, so make sure to watch or read those if you want more info about any laptop I was talking about so far. Alright, that covers the hardware side of things, but why does it make sense to bet on Nvidia's GPUs in addition of them being just plain fast to begin with? Of course, my prime example would be video editing, and we already did a full video about our workflow in a previous video that touched upon how well Team Green's graphics cards are integrated into Resolve 19, our choice of video editing software. In addition, we use Blender even during our regular reviews to see how fast GPUs can be in a more CGI-related workflow. And you will have a very hard time finding better performing and better supported mobile GPUs right now, with almost every rendering engine being RTX accelerated. But even more niche plugins such as On1 Resize to quickly upscale images or the photo and video editing tools from Topaz Labs can utilize Nvidia's Tensor cores to speed up new AI workflows that stabilize, denoise, edit and resize your content within just a few moments. Speaking of AI, image generation is of course a very hot topic these days. And Stable Diffusion is one of the major applications that can enable you to run such tasks locally on your machine. Again, something that is tremendously accelerated by Nvidia's hardware. But please folks, let me know how you use or would use your laptop for work, and if you have workflows in mind we should take a look at for future case studies. I would also like to know which notebooks are your favorites from a content creator's perspective, and of course why that is. Sound off in the comments below. If you want to read up on Nvidia's Studio Validation and the list of supported apps and features, follow the links below. And as always, if you want to get shopping right away, head on over to Notebooks Billiger for the latest deals on creator-focused laptops. That should be it from me for today. Please leave your like and sub if you haven't already. Thanks for watching. My name is Alex and I cannot wait to see you all in the next one. Take care.